Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here. We have the co-host and a guest on. You know who I am, Mr. Hawksblood. We got Tina Bird. She'll introduce herself in a second. We got Sasha, who's pretty well up on everything. So we have a lot of information here. If you have questions, please come on and ask. You got wisdom or knowledge, you can come on and put it out there as well. Truth only. That's my motto. Truth only. Everything else is useless. So we're going to get into what's going on in the world and what's going on out of the world and the benefits or the that'll affect people. So I'm going to hand it over to Tina Bird.
Greetings. Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Bird here in the UK, and I'm here with our weekly show with Tommy Hawksblood he's in Hawaii. I'm in Southampton in Hampshire in England, and I run Hive, Human Individuals Visited by Extraterrestrials, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. I don't post very often, but you can contact me there, or you can message me on Messenger or on Tina Bird, ET Gal on Facebook. And greetings to everybody out there. I'd just like to say hi to Sasha, who's coming on this evening. And yeah, hopefully we're going to have a few more people on the show, and we can really have a chat about what is going on in the world. Tommy?
Okay, Sasha, you want to just say hello, tell everybody who you are, if you don't mind?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sasha. I've got to know Tommy around 2016, and it's just been an interesting ride ever since. So that's why I'm here.
Well, it's always a pleasure. So let's get into it today. Now, again, after the show's over, please send this link to everybody you know, trying to get more people involved with the truth, not just stories. Tina's putting out a book. She'll talk about it a little bit later. Congratulations for that.
Yeah, congrats.
My book is out there. The truth is out there. You just got to find it if you're ready. I want to start with, I'm sure you know that they're still trying to bring disclosure out to the public. Disclosure to mainstream, I don't know what the average person assumes it means, because right now, the way it seems in the UFO world, disclosure means showing that there's UFOs in the sky. Now, it's 2020. If you haven't seen a UFO yet, you need to. This way, you don't need somebody to say, disclosure is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Disclosure is not saying they're going to tell you anything about any alien race. They're not going to tell you what their purpose and what the reasoning behind what they do. They're only going to say ships are going over us. And I wonder how long before they even think about telling us what kind of races that are here. I know Putin himself in Russia told the people publicly he's working with a lot of races. So it's a lot less covered up in other countries. I don't know how much more information came out. My friend that was a translator, he's not around no more. He used to translate what Putin was saying to me. So, and he always used to listen to the show from Russia. So with that, we need to find out what's happening in the moment. You need to get in touch with people around you that are involved with this. If there's an organization, join it, see what they're saying, what they're pushing. We need to find out how much truth is getting out to the UFO world, how much real truth, if any, and where we need to push and emphasize to other people to get it out there. Because until we get it worldwide, across the United States and other countries, so that the average person, wherever they are, can at least hear or find out a place to go to hear or talk to people, even if it's online. So we need to create a couple of sites. My site's always open, but a place where people can come and at least ask questions. I mean, people say, well, I'd really like to know what we're doing, where we're going. Now, I can only tell you what I experienced. Tina can only tell you what she experienced, and Sasha can only tell you what he experienced. But within that, we have a pretty wide scope of things that actually happen to all of us. So, I mean, as far as UFOs, aliens, time, and things like that, reincarnation, all those words, we have experience in it. So we're not talking about somebody else's book that they wrote. And I can't do that. I'm not that kind of a person. Tina's honest about what she's going through, and she's going on through a lot more than 90%, I'd say at least 90% of the UFO people out there claiming they were abducted and they went with the good aliens and all the other things that go along with that story.
You've got your radiation device with you?
Oh, she just measured herself. People, just so
Oh,
you
you
know,
did? Okay.
wait, let me say this. I talked Tina into getting a radioactive detector for herself.
God, you can.
There it is.
And all of a sudden, she is. And she goes up and down with it, which is almost impossible. But she just tested herself before the show started. So I'll let her talk about it. Hand it back over to her.
So hi guys, this is a Geiger counter, and it measures micro Teslas on the bottom, and it's volts per meter squared here. So when I hold it towards the computer and everything else, nothing. When I hold it towards me, or I normally pick it up, it starts going up and the numbers will go up. And I'm not going to wave it back too much. And it'll start beeping when you get a lethal dose. Hold on, my cup of tea's just arrived. I do apologise. 1 second. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Speaking of tea,
so just before the show, oh, and I got a clip. So just before the show, I measured my. Oh, it's not going off now, and it fluctuates. It comes and goes like waves around me. So sometimes I pick it up, and last week it wouldn't stop beeping. Touch wood. So far, it's not gone off. Yeah, it went off earlier when I was talking to Tommy. So we keep that handy. So if you hear anything beeping, it's that. So, well, I originally bought it for when I went into crop circles. With my friend, we went and had a little investigation, went up to a few crop circles that recently appeared. There's lots not far from where I actually live in Hampshire. And as you go up towards Salisbury and places like that, there's loads of crop circles that appeared this year. And we took the Geiger counter, and the field actually fluctuates throughout the cornfields. So we took the Geiger counter with us just to make sure, to double check that, you know, if it's a genuine, it goes off, because not everybody carries a bag of radiation about with them. So the Geiger counter reading was going up to 0.20, 23. It went quite high and then low. It only picks up radiation, so or a magnetic field. So in the crop circle, the radiation was going off, but not the magnetic field. I would have thought it would have been the other way, but no, it didn't. So grab a Geiger counter, go out and do some investigating. If you think anything's landed, seen anything around you, you don't feel right, get one of these and test your house, test your car, test your home, and keep testing. And you never know. And I always keep a record of when we go out and things like that. And my friend has one, so when we go out, double check reading. So I have a reader and she has a reader.
How much did it cost?
This was less than, it was about £10-20. It wasn't a lot of money. I bought it on Amazon, and that's what it says on the back.
So everybody, you want to find out if your food's contaminated and everything else. When you go to the store, you can bring it with you. Test.
Yes, it's a Geiger counter. Electrical. Cool. There you go. And yep, and that's the number for it.
Get one as well.
Yeah, so, they're really cheap. I don't even think it was that dear. I think it was under £20.
Well, remember, there's so many frequencies of radiation. The cheaper one only picks up certain amounts of radiation, so it's not all the radiation belts that are out there. There's like 5 bands, and that picks out like...
Yeah, this is micro Tesla. And when this goes off the red alarm there, it means you're getting a lethal dose. So that will go off on the electrical magnetic field and on the micro Teslas. So anything under 00 is fine, but once that 0 there goes to 1, it will start flashing because you're getting a lethal dose.
Has that ever happened to you, Tina?
Yeah, loads of times. Yeah, wow. It's been flashing a lot lately.
Wow. If you're in a store and you go in near the food section and it starts going off, don't start a big stir.
I don't take it out of me now, because people look at me, and when it starts beeping, I'm like, I'm like, no, I don't take it out of me unless I'm going and doing field investigations. Yeah. Or in the home, if I just have it on me in the home, I could be sitting there watching telly and it would just start. Last week it was beeping every time I went to pick it up, so I just put me off.
So you put that on Amazon, right?
I bought this on Amazon. Yeah, it was on Amazon. It came with a booklet. It came very quickly as well. There's only a couple of days wait. It's very light. It came with a battery, I think, as well. And it comes with a on and off switch. You've got a whole thing. It's got a light on there. It's got an average one and a per square inch one. And
for those people out there, it's not an expensive tool. Right?
No.
You see all these people going out and buying these inventions to pick up ghost sounds and voices and everything else.
Oh, I'm 5. My baby's 5.
5.
0.5.
To have something like that, not even just for UFOs, for your food and for things around you.
Yeah.
To see if things are exposed, it couldn't hurt. The price is reasonable. And just think, if you get information, the best place is to put it somewhere, like give it to us or somebody online that could actually put it out there. I mean, if you go in a food store and go up to the meat section and it's reading super high, I think people need to be warned about that. I mean, when it first started, they were telling people to take a Geiger counter. Some of the food stores had a Geiger counter out there even, but that kind of just disappeared all of a sudden, right? We play the game. We push something for a month, a year, but by the end of the year, we already have to have something else to push. Look how long the O.J. Simpson case lasted. I mean, the Michael Jackson story. Some of these stories, they keep going for a long period of time. But that's when you really have to find out what they're trying to cover up. It's like they put everybody's attention on one thing, while something else is going on so that nobody sees it, hears it, or even gets involved with it. So that's just something to think about. So with that, let's move on to, I'm dealing with this light ship. I see it above me. The sky's been clear for maybe a half hour at a time, and I run outside to try to catch as much as I can. The sky had more stars in it than I ever saw in my life while I was here in Hawaii 2 nights ago. And this light ship blinked at me the second I went outside. And 2 people around the corner from me and everything said they saw it as well. So something's going on. I could stay out there and see ships on the average. And I don't want to get into the whole thing about UFOs, satellites, and all that stuff, but they're all different. And we are seeing a lot more UFOs. One thing I could tell you, because I listen to these stories, I listen to every story I can and see if anybody's putting anything out. The triangle ship, now the Phoenix thing, and all those things. It's an old story. But the fact is, they're still talking about the one sighting, which was at nighttime. A friend, a so-called friend.
Is this the 1997 one?
Right. But a so-called friend of mine.
2007.
2007. No, maybe not.
Was it that long ago?
I'm not even sure now. But a friend of mine, he shot the same ship, that morning over the desert. So it wasn't like it was just there for 1 hour, 1.5 hour at night. So it was moving across the United States slowly in a couple of states. So the thing I want to tell you is, when you think about ships, think about how they move, where they are. You don't see UFOs going slowly over New York City. You don't see UFOs going slowly over Vegas. You don't see ships. If they're moving pretty fast and they're high. Now, I'm in Hawaii, and I was on the far end of the island a couple years ago. And at the end, it slopes down because there's a valley there, and that's where an army base is. I was there, and this giant triangle ship came right up from the ground, from the back of the mountain back of me, straight up above me. It was the loudest noise I ever heard. It almost fractured my eardrums. My 2 cameras froze, and it was gone within 4 seconds. Because by the time I went to town, which I was at the end of town, when I went back into town, I was asking anybody, did you see the ship? Did you hear it? Nobody did. So from the short distance of those 4 seconds, it went from super noisy to noiseless. So there's things, like I said, you need to watch when you're dealing with planes, ships, and helicopters. They all can look the same at certain times, from the closeness to where they are to you.
Are there actually UFO ships that actually make noise?
Yes, they do. See, here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
People that I don't. I had a ship land in my yard, and I heard it take off.
Well, that's
It
nice.
was a weird sound. It wasn't like super loud. It was more like if you put on a motor and you, but kind of hum sound like that. I mean, it's not going to blast the whole neighborhood. Like what I'm telling you, I saw here in Hawaii. It blasted a bang, real loud.
This week, I don't know if you know, sorry, Sasha, this week there was a film called Phenomenon that was released about UFOs, Disclosure. I think Fox or someone made it. and it was released, and it had on there military people, I mean, high-ranking ex-government and minister defense people, and people from all across the board, from the White House down, saying that UFOs are real. People on the naval intelligence they had on it. It's a film documentary about how these people think and have seen documents that should be declassified, and the public should know. And all these high-ranking officials are worried that the public don't know and should be informed. There's no reason why they're withholding this information from us. If you want to watch that, I did pay. I must admit, I think it was $13.99 in English pounds, about $14, $20, and is it in American? I'm not sure. It's $13.99 English pounds. So,
and that was on what site?
Sorry,
what did you watch it on? What site?
Amazon.
Oh, on Amazon.
Was it Amazon or Netflix?
I pay for Amazon anyway. Sometimes I get a lot of the shows for free.
Check that. No, this one you got to pay for. So check Amazon and Netflix. I'm sure it's on Amazon. That's one you pay for on Amazon.
I know I paid $20 to watch a video online a while ago, 6 months ago, and it was supposed to be the truth about God and Jesus. It was the biggest waste of money I ever spent.
So not a lot of truth in there. Huh?
Yeah, the proof was somebody speaking. To me, that's not truth. That's just somebody telling another story and their side of it. So somebody said, I think some guy we did.
Yeah, it was James Fox. I knew it was somebody Fox.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll check it out. I don't think I've been, like I said, I try to watch everything I can.
If you're going into UFO field and you don't think UFOs exist or you want proof, then you should watch the film Phenomenon. This new one by is thank you very much, Mr. or Mrs. Miss P. Madsen. Yeah.
I just say 2010.
And it's
P. Madsen.
And it's a good film to watch if you're starting out. So if you want to go into ufology or you're not convinced or you don't know what all the fuss is about, these are military men, these are working military men who work with these things every day, are telling you that they are real and that something should be done to protect us here on this planet. So if you want to see that, it's got, I think it's got a bit of everything in. I think it's got the African, when it landed, a couple of UFOs landed at an African school, and John Mack was in there interviewing the children. That bit's on there, but it's got all the high-ranking UFOs, videos, footage.
I saw a half-hour preview of that. The guy was interviewing him, and they were talking about that. You know,
he's not with us anymore, but he's very well renowned.
Yeah, but that story's 20 years old, and they're only talking about it now, and they're trying to interview these people 20 years later. I mean,
yeah, they were on there as adults, but they're just trying to bring it forward. Why this has not been looked at further in the field of sciences?
But you know, little things like that should have been brought out when they happened. I mean, it would have been so much more relevant to the time frame. It would have brought us a giant step further down the road instead of like, oh, Roswell. We're still talking about Roswell. Happened in 47. Let's get with the programs. Right. What happened in Montauk, the story I can tell you about Wanacue, New Jersey, happened in a long time ago in the 40s. But that was the most dangerous thing that ever happened in the UFO world. And they can't talk about that. So we have a problem. What information is important and what information is not important? Is any president and people in Congress going to tell us anything important? Think about it. What did they ever tell us that was important? I mean, when we went to war, when we had that the fires and the oil wells and all that, they told us after they were there and they already started bombing. Obviously, you can't say we're going to go bomb Russia today, we're going to bomb China today, but what are they really doing? Did they ever really tell us what happened? What bothers me, people are what word can I use? Ignorant. People don't want to know what really happened at 9/11. That should still be on the front line of what we need to know and why. And nobody's digging into it. Nobody's putting their claws in it and making it happen to find out the truth. Putin himself said on Russian TV He wanted Trump to tell the truth of what happened at 9/11. And that was 3 months before he was elected president. So why he said that, who knows? Whether it was connections or awareness, knowledge, can Putin go into the future? Who knows? We can time travel. We can do a lot of things. So again, we need to stay on top and get involved. To you, Sasha. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, not to mention Benghazi as well.
Right. You know, these things that are happening, we need to know it. I mean, we're not. See, it's like if you have a family and your house is close to a fire and it's coming closer and closer. You're going to wait till the fire burns the house before you tell your children, we got to get out of here soon?
So can you answer a question for me then, Tommy? On that same note, looking back, I'm going to touch on something you love, the subject you love now, the Bible. If UFOs have landed, was it aerials at school in Africa? If these UFOs landed and they've been speaking to children and speaking to other people, you know, and other abductees and that, message has been the same, but we're killing our planet, stop what we're doing, stop with the technology, blah, blah, blah. What happened if this has happened before? And when aliens did come and there was disclosure, we had what they call the deluge. They flooded the world to kill the humans to stop what they were doing. What happens if they're going to bring that to us again?
Well, you know, they really need to. I'm sorry. I'm a hardcore rebel. We need a revolution worldwide. We need to change it, or we will destroy the planet, or most of it. Unless we form some kind of united organization worldwide, and not one that 5 people are in and 5 people are out. They all have to be in it.
I think the Hopi have warned us for many years about something similar to this.
Well, the Hopi people, the prophecy, this is their prophecy. Yeah. If the white man doesn't unite with the red man, the world will be destroyed. Straight out. That was carried by Thomas Binyaka, the oldest Hopi elder who carried the prophecy. And then it was given to James Keamy, and he died a year later after he was carrying it. And now Grandfather David, I think, was the last person to actually have it and actually teach it. It's not that complicated, and that's the most important part of it. But there is hieroglyphics of what it looks like that was taken out of an underground cave that they found a long time ago. And it kind of looks like 2 lines. Where's my fingers? All right, 2 lines coming up like that. And one has like a staff, and the other has 2 X's and a circle around it. It shows World War I and World War II. It shows on the bottom World War III. But if they unite, it shows the staff with like farm, meaning we'll go into farming and create a beautiful world. But obviously that's not going to happen, and it will not happen. The time frame and the chances of that happened already were destroyed because there was over 50 million Native people here. Now there's less than 750,000, and sadly to say, the elders and the medicine people are millionaires. Most of them have sold out, which is sad. But money changes everything. Money changes everybody.
So is it safe to say that it's too late for us then?
No, I can't. I could say there's, you know, you have to put this in there. There's always a chance. Don't ask me what that chance is. There could be a chance, but whether people would ever take it, if an angel came down, if a deity came down, or something like that, says, look, if everybody throws their guns out the window today, we can save tomorrow. Who knows? But
I think we're at the end of or the start of an extinction event. I think it's already started.
Well, it started. I mean, the Agenda 21 is, UN Agenda 21 is already in place. And this is the year of the beginning of the agenda. So obviously, I got a video. I sent it to you, Sasha. Did you get to watch it?
The one of the UFO.
With that woman speaking?
Oh, yeah, I did. I actually uploaded it on my channel.
She explains in detail what's happening. All the way up to 5G, how it's going to affect us, how the virus, everything about it. And she's working with top scientists as well. So I will stick it back up. Check out my site. I'll put it up on Facebook again and YouTube. But it's something you need to watch. Whether she's 100% accurate or not, if she has a little bit of truth, it's scary and it's dangerous. And if people don't become aware of simple things like that, how are we going to stop the world from getting into a place FEMA camps were created for a reason. And nobody talks about a FEMA camp. Why? Because they disappear. Nobody talks about the all the coffins they bought years ago. All right. And when they found out
there's
what
lots of talk about that. Yeah.
they moved them again so that nobody knew where they are or why they're there.
Not to mention all the children disappearing during Halloween.
Well, Halloween's going to be, somebody's knocking at your door. You don't know if they got the virus or not, but they're going to have a mask
I
on.
don't think they're having it in Britain because of the COVID-19. It's like, no, thank you.
Well, I create my own mask. Like this is the one I wear when I go out, real fast.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Is that just
That's what I wear when I go out.
Is that a sock?
It's a sock. I made another one. I made a couple of them. Some are really cool. But, is that the answer to our problem? No. And sadly, people still don't believe it. Trump put that doubt in everybody's mind that a mask isn't going to save everybody. But what's he do? He infected 24 people already. So can people sue him? I would say, well, why not? Let's try.
If I was Mr. Trump, I would be more worried about how he got contaminated. With all the cleaners and Secret Service around him, someone got close enough to give him the virus.
Right. I mean, he's the president of the United States. And if the president is able to get infected, that should worry every American.
Especially all the people that are around him that have it. But see, he promoted, no, we don't need a mask. When he started lecturing, well, they don't have to have a mask on if they don't want to. You can't be, well, you shouldn't be president if you can't follow your own rules and your own laws. Mm-hmm. When something's bad, now, right today, he's fighting with Fauci, if I'm saying it right.
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah. And they're having a problem. He's against him completely. They're back and forth. First, when Trump first came out with the virus, he made him speak everything. Then he said, no, we don't. Then he made him speak again. And now they're at odds.
Because they've been butting heads ever since they started the daily briefings for Corona.
But see, here's the thing. The truth's in there somewhere. And it's being mogged, squished apart, torn apart in every way so that you can't see it. So I say, is it going to hurt you to put a mask on to go out to the store? No. I mean, if they were telling you to put a noose around your neck and hang from a tree for 2 hours and see if you live, that would be a different story. But they're just telling you to put a mask on your face. And a lot of faces we don't want to see anyway. So why not? I mean, you can put a nice clown mask on and something more. My friend has this really horrible witch mask.
You're so charming, Tommy.
Again, Halloween's coming. And it's a very dangerous time because criminals put masks on and they can do whatever they want.
People can save money on costumes. Everybody just wear their regular mask.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but see, crime will go up and things else. I mean, and then what they do to children will go missing. All those little things, nobody talks about it. We need to enforce the idea that we're responsible for what happens, not the government. They're responsible for what they do, but they're not going to tell us what that is. And unless we're on top of this whole alien thing, we're never going to. I just want to throw this out there. I put a link on the bottom. Email me if you want my my book on how to see a UFO. Please, I'm sending it out as an ebook free, as a PDF file for free. It's about 200 pages. It's a lot of detail about it. It goes into a little bit about spiritualism and stuff, but it's really important if you never saw a UFO or you want to see one. It's free, people. I'm not charging. I'm not making money off of it. I just want people that never saw a UFO or even want to see them again or learn how to see them easy. There's real simple steps to do it. Just got to be willing, and then you got to be responsible for seeing and telling yourself why you want to see a UFO. Because
you don't want to see a UFO. I've seen many. You're more worried if a UFO takes interest in you, then you better run. The second that light hits you, forget it. You're never the same again.
Now she's a person.
I've seen orbs. I haven't seen UFOs yet. I've seen the orbs only.
So a friend of mine, I emailed him. He's a former CIA agent, and I asked him. He looked into orbs, and I said to him about this incident I had, and he said he answered my question. but he said that orbs are sent out and UFOs use them as like
A reconnaissance.
yes. They send orbs out to people or places that they can't reach or want to see, and they use them as reconnaissance. So be very careful of glowing orbs that come through your wall. If you see them, you want to just run the other way. But yeah,
I've seen the red ones and the green ones. I have not seen the yellow and the blue ones yet.
Well, here's the thing. Let me try to explain this. Technology changes for us every 10 years greatly, right? And then every 25 years, we take a super giant leap. Now, picture that 10,000 times over by alien races. All right, when Bill Myers came out with the UFOs that the Pleiadians supposed to drive around in, right? They look like a cylinder, but if you look at it, it has a lot of junk on it. It kind of looks like something really outdated. The ships now aren't even close to that. But what I was going to try to say to you, Sasha, technology has changed so much, they don't need the same kind of a ship anymore.
Yeah.
So you're going to see it as an orb. It doesn't have to be looking like a plane, a jet, or a rocket. It just needs to be an orb of energy.
So then it'd be safe for me to say I've seen UFO.
Oh, of course. An orb is a UFO.
Okay.
I mean, if it's right next to you in front of you, then it's probably an alien inside.
Well, let's hope that day never comes.
Well, I've been around. I'm not afraid of it.
Unfortunately, Tina's been dealing with it, but yeah.
Well,
see, people think that it's a special event and, oh, why not me? You have to be crazy. I am nothing special. I don't think anyone who says that they've been abducted is anything special. Just everyday people. You don't expect it. You don't know why it happens to you. So people say, yes, I do all this and that. That's absolute nonsense. I think you're either taken by chance, they choose you, or there's something about you you either have or you don't have. And that's basically it. I mean, I didn't know what was going on as a kid. You don't. I can't say as a 6-year-old, yeah, I've been abducted and I went up to see Father Christmas in the sky or what have you, went for a nice ride and, you don't, and it leaves you. So when you come back when you're older, you don't expect to wake up one day, go to bed as normal. In a few years, nothing's happened and it leaves you. You don't expect to wake up in the middle of the night on some metal table, not been able to move with no clothes on, and the drilling stuff into your stomach and in your chest.
Oh, jeez.
You know, people, look, Tina has been abducted many times, and she's as real as it gets. I mean, when you hear the stories, they got up out of the bed, there was an alien standing there, and they got on a ship with them, and they went to this other planet, they ate dinner, then they went on a sightseeing tour of the universe, and all these words. Then you get these people coming out with these great stories. Anna Hayes, pull up her stuff, check it out. She'll go into 1,000 words you never heard, into 100 races you never heard about, and she'll explain she knows everything from the beginning.
Would you tell her from me, next time they take her, would you ask them never to come to my house again and take me, if they'd be so kind? Cheers. Pass that little message along.
You should get in touch with her directly. I was friends with her, but she's famous now, and her ego was super big when I met her. But she was really close to my other friend, Sergio 18, because when he used to say his ship was always over the house, and when she came over to our house, the first thing she said when she walked into the gate, "Oh, whose ship's above this house?" And he goes, "Oh, that's my ship." That's how it all started. My friend was dating her, going with her and everything, so I invited him over our house. And it was funny how that went down. But I just realized certain people in certain links are connected at a certain frequency. So they see the same things. Does that make it real or not? It's a different story. Or how important does it make it? Does nobody else see the ship? Go ahead.
So, well, like you said about other abductees going places, I mean, I've seen, and technology, like people expect to see, oh, it's a plane. Well, I said this last week, they didn't have weather balloons 2,000 years ago. They didn't have weather balloons 200 years ago. So all these stories and accounts weren't, was it swamp gas in the middle of the desert? You don't get swamp gas in the middle of the desert when they see UFOs or crop circles. You know, so these things have been about a while. And as for technology, they don't use like things like flying ships with wings, and you know, they if they've got the ability to put a human being of my size, I'm not a little person, of my size, in a bubble, or take you into one of their memories. And honestly, it's going to sound crazy now. They put you in a bubble where there's nothing, there's no seats, no nothing. You're just in this bubble, and you could go to another part of the universe, and you could go there and be back in one night. Now,
Well,
whether
let me
that's
stop you there. That's a
Yeah.
very important piece of information that very few people could even talk about. Because when you leave this physical world, and you're traveling in space, you move through space, you go through speed and time, your body's not protected. And you're saying how they do protect the person when they want to use them or take them. It's not like you just pull a body through space and you automatically survives traveling. The only thing that I say that happened that maybe it wasn't supposed to happen, that you were exposed to radiation. But it's just iffy the way it goes up and down. My brother's a chemist. I'd like to bring him on just to talk to him right now and hear what he would have to say. I should do it as a surprise. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Could you tell me? Answer. Do you want me to do it?
Put me on the spot.
you could do, but don't put him on the spot if he doesn't want to do it.
I'm going to put him on a spot without asking him. How's that sound? Let me
Hey, Mike, you're live. You're live, by the way.
You're live after he says what he says.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please?
Oh, you're actually doing okay.
Hello, Michael Sinisi.
Calling Mike Sinisi.
Okay. Well, while you're calling, let's have a look at some viewers' comments. So, P-Man.
No, I was going to make a comment to 2010 that.
Hold on.
I'm having jealousies
as loud as I can.
I haven't yet.
Mike, can you hear me okay? All right. Now, just so you know, you're live, okay?
I'm live.
You're alive, okay?
Yes.
A question for you. I'm doing a show. The friend I'm dealing with, her name's Tina Bird, and she has a Geiger counter with her. The radiation she's exposed to goes up and down. Is that anything you could? Would you have any understanding why that could happen or how it could happen?
Go up and down. You changing the distance. The probe is from.
No. She's sitting right in front of me, and she takes out the Geiger counter and puts it by her arm, and it reads a dangerous level. An hour later, half hour later, it drops. It's not there. It drops
down to the minutes. Got nothing now.
Lower thing. Last week she had no radiation. The week before she did. Is there a reason?
Something is moving.
Something's
I have to say something is moving.
Well, she's only moving a couple inches in front of the TV screen. It doesn't sound like something normally possible, right?
Well, I don't know enough about every possible thing, but it shouldn't happen that way if you're staying still.
Right. So now CERN, you said when it stops, when it's running, it's producing a super large quantity of radiation, but it stays inside their pressure chamber.
Yeah.
But when it stops, it's not there, right?
When the thing stops, yeah, probably not.
All right. I hope you don't mind. I just wanted to get an important viewpoint on this because we've been dealing with it regularly. It starts beeping saying she's radioactive even. But all right. Well, look, I'll talk to you later. I'm glad I got you. Thanks.
I don't know enough, I think, but I tend to look. You got to look for all the things that could possibly be moving to affect it.
I agree. I totally agree. But she's sitting there. She's in front of her microphone and in front of her computer. Unless she's in some kind of time warp situation, would anything be moving?
I don't think it's something like that. I'm thinking more along the lines that
her house is moving.
No, you have different, we'll say, different particles coming from somewhere, getting in the way, and they move.
Right. Okay. No, that's kind of what I was saying. Maybe I know you're not into the UFO thing, but they're putting some kind of shield around her, or blocking her from it, or adding it to her. All right. Well, look, I'll let you go, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
That means they target me, little buggers.
I put him on a spot. How do you like that?
You did really well too.
He's a scientist. That's why I wanted to bring him on. So, yeah, it's what's happening now goes beyond normal ideas. Just to show you how, this I'm going to throw in, I think it's important. I've been doing something the medicine woman that I dealt with for 26 years taught me. And it's like this. You rub your hands together. You create an image in your mind of intention. You breathe on your hands the intention. And then you go over your food to purify it, to heal it, protect it. All right? She worked with
food dead? Is that what you're saying?
No, to protect it from radiation, different things. She was taught. She went did research with that with a woman Kruger, a scientist who measured it, and this was 50 years ago. So now I hear in like what's his face, a UFO person claiming that they're working on how to measure the energy, that they can change the vibration of something. Which is really not that complicated. So I've been doing that all my life since I learned how to do it. But little things like that we can do to protect ourselves. All right. And it's a matter of who taught us it, where it came from, and all those kind of things.
Does that also apply to organic food?
Any kind of food, everything. What you do, even yourself. I mean, I do this over myself if I have to, whatever. So
right.
It's balancing the energy.
If I had to do that, it might make me juicy food for aliens.
I actually do Jeffrey Seelman's protection practices.
Who's he?
Okay.
He's a well-known exorcist.
Exorcist.
Exorcisms and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, here's the thing. Your level of awareness.
I wonder what would happen if an exorcist met an alien.
Well, no, the exorcist I work with, no, Tina. I'll bring him on. I can't get him today.
Oh, I was going to pop out of him.
No, listen.
No, he's been on here a couple times.
I had him on my show a couple times. The last time we had him on and it would cut off. But he deals with exorcisms of aliens as well as demons. All right. So it'd be interesting if you wanted to ask him questions about that. I mean, he does healing work over the phone anywhere of the world and things like that as well. But when you talk about aliens, he meets a lot of people that are programmed and abducted in a way by aliens, and to protect them from that. And I thought about that. I said, I don't know who you are, because I kind of look at it as like a spiritual, religious thing, and I know you're not into that. But if you ever want, I'm going to try to bring him on again. Maybe we'll set up a different show for that, or just do a show differently on with that. So we're not just directly talking about aliens, but he would love to do it. He loves to come on my show. We agree on a lot of things, not everything. But he does about 300 abductions a year. So that's a lot. I mean, when you're dealing with people.
So it fascinates me when people talk about abduction, and a lot of people don't realise. When I was younger, I didn't realise what was going on. It wasn't until you get older and you put it together, then you awake and you see things. You know when you see something close up, when you see fear in its eyes or a look on its face, you know that's, you're there, you know that's real. Why do people find that fascinating and think that should happen to them? Why I admit, from the other end of that is horrifying. Why do people want something so horrible to happen to them?
They're brain dead.
I never understood that. I never understood that.
They don't want the truth. They don't want to understand what really happens. They just want to think everything's good. Oh, if I meet an alien, he's going to teach me, he's going to show me, he's going to protect me. They don't want to know why he's really abducting them. I mean, and when they get programmed, they believe the story that their mind was programmed with. And that was created, I guess, in the late 50s, because Truman didn't want any people to hear a real story, so they had to make sure that they told a different story, if they told the story at all. Because originally when they were abducted, nobody was supposed to know, and they weren't supposed to remember it. But when people started remembering it,
how do you think aliens view human beings? Like, if it's true, like the Roswell crash and the bodies they've retrieved, and I know they retrieved a baby girl's body, didn't they, from a crashed UFO? It was a hybrid one a few years ago. It was female. Now, do aliens view us as abducting them when we perform autopsies and keep them incarcerated?
We're talking about what, 10, 20? I mean, when you talk about how many they abduct, it's like, oh, they're trying to abduct us. We don't get that many people. Their technology is too far advanced in our ignorance of what we can do to them.
But we obviously have something that works to our advantage to have so many crashes on the Earth.
Oh, no. We caused Roswell to happen. That wasn't an accident. 3 ships were shot down. All right. And that's when the United States was learning technology, how to take ships down. And it never stopped. So when they got the aliens, that was the first time they actually started working with the aliens, per se. I can't say what they did in the 20s or anything because nobody knows and nobody will confess to that. But after the 40s and after Truman and Eisenhower created this whole thing with MJ-12, I had a friend in MJ-12, and I heard a lot of stories what went on and the truth behind it all. So yeah, there's just so much stuff there. Not that it's going to help us. Not that it's going to help us survive Trump if he ever becomes president again, or our taxes.
4 more years. 4 more years.
4 more years.
Isn't that what they say?
4 more years. That means Trump would. I mean, China might say, "Hey, now's the time to take over," or who knows what would happen.
Yeah, China's already freaking out
with the space race a bit, though, aren't they?
What was that?
Japan, aren't they getting in on the space? My hair this evening. I do apologize.
Oh, they're in on it, but they're not out there mainstream. They were always high tech. When I went to the World's Fair in 1964, their Harley Davidson, their bikes that compared to Harley Davidson, made the Harley Davis bike look like nothing. Their bike was like 2 times wider and bigger. I mean, their technology was always there. And they're not out like promoting it. I mean, we came with Japanese cars and everybody knows said, don't buy a Japanese car. Why? Because it was cheaper and it was more practical in a lot of ways. But, you know, I'm not saying this stuff was always better, but they're not like China. China made the garbage. They put out
I think China mass produced so much, and in my opinion, and then I think the Japanese I think they overdo it. I'm not sure what the right word is.
The Japanese
they over-engineer, but haven't they put a little satellite round or on the moon or something, haven't they, recently? Or I've not got that right.
I'm not sure. Japan, you don't hear much about. After the war with Japan, we don't hear much. I didn't hear much at all about what's going on. Not that I don't care. I mean, it would be interesting to see how far they are in the UFO world, but they're not out there mainstream bragging about it, pushing it, dealing with it to the public. And if they are, the public's not talking about it. So, I mean...
No, a lot of foreign countries are very controlled about what they release or what they show and what you see, even in Britain. It's scary to think why the government even wants to control that for the general populace not to understand the truth and see it with their own eyes. I don't understand them wanting to withhold it.
Other countries that you don't hear talked about much, like Ireland and Finland and Greenland, they're up on weapons. They're up, I mean, one country, they're all in the army. Everybody born is automatically in the army. Now, does that sound bad or good? Everybody has to know how to shoot a rifle. Everybody has to know how to use a gun. Everybody has to know all these things. But I think that's good in one way. The country is so different than ours. It's so different than Japanese or the Russians or the Chinese. So, and that's called the white race people, per se, the black people would say. I mean, the white countries, I mean, considering when we consider white people bad to the black people and black people bad to the white people.
I think you find in the north and the north of the northern hemisphere, I think there's a lot more Eskimo people that aren't white, like in Chicxulub in Russia and in Iceland and Finland, and you know they're all Eskimo people. They're not white people. Have they been there? Look.
Well, Alaskan people are considered what? Red people.
Really?
They're native.
Well, a lot of native, like a native people to
Native
Alaska,
American,
they
yeah.
are what you call it? Is it not Inuits? They are Eskimos, aren't they?
But they're brown. They're brown skin. I mean, we're all different shades of brown, the way I put it. Just that the whitish people, called white people, just that the brown genes aren't really strong. And it just gets stronger as you turn black. So the shades of brown over the colors. We're not yellow, we're not green, we're not purple, we're not blue. Not anymore. We might have been, or we were a long time ago. And those races
We're
disappeared.
all one race. It doesn't matter what colour we are. We're all part of this human race. I think every continent, regardless who is on there, has something to offer to mankind. We're all part of the same human race, and we just view things from different angles.
Tina,
But the government doesn't listen to the populace again.
if you ever want to get into a debate about that, we can. I would love to. Because
I'll
basically,
be the moderator. The moderator.
You be the moderator, right?
Who's
Because
your money on, me or Tommy?
the human race want to believe, and this is what I write about a lot, want to believe they're important. They want to believe their truth is important. They want to believe a lot of things are right. I mean, but we have so many religions, so many gods, so many ideas that are all twisted. To think that anybody has something to offer to the world, name one person that can offer something important to the world. Tesla came out with these inventions that are going to destroy the world. The most smartest, intelligent person that I would assume by brain size and whatever came out with the most deadliest weapons on the planet. So when somebody says, oh, there has to be useful people, name one. Who's useful? Trump? His wife? His daughter? His son? Who's useful? The Pope? I mean, you can go into all the names, the Dalai Lama, Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle, Oprah Winfrey. Are any of them useful to the planet? Really? Would the planet miss them if they were gone? So, we have not moved the planet forward in 200,000, 20,000 years? I mean, 2,000 years ago, Jesus was here, but and they killed him. Going back past that, going back to the beginning of Hinduism.
If I was him, I would not want to come back.
The problem is, why would you come back to teach a bunch of idiots what? To believe in a God which they don't even understand? Very few people want to understand a real God. They twisted what he taught. So you say,
I can't even understand the British government, let alone something like that.
When you say we all have something to offer, no, we don't. We want to believe that. No, that's why we're here, planet Earth, in hell. And you stay here until you become aware of something more important than your ego. And when you do, you really don't need to stay here anymore because this world's driven on money and ego. So until you can let go of that, can you touch a higher realm or higher?
I don't know about that. I think half the poor, starving people in Ethiopia and Africa and places like that don't have either of those assets.
Well, they are only concerned about getting their meal to eat. They're trying to survive. Most people, including alien races,
basic human need, that is. Shows you human.
Well, the same with aliens. You think that their needs not the same? They need to survive.
Tommy, stop it! I'm not food. I'm not food.
Well,
we're all food. We're all
you're not food. You're a little more useful to them than food. But Sasha over there, on the other hand.
Well, you know what? I'm going to have to go to the store and buy a lot of tin foil or something.
Wow. Is that coffee you were drinking or tea?
Who?
You.
Oh, tea.
Oh, well done. Oh, you got no milk in it.
No, it's just on the bottom is where the tea leaves are left over.
Oh, that's hideous. Put it away.
I know, I agree.
You need to have milk in tea and use a tea strainer to put the tea leaves in. What's the matter
I'm sorry.
with you?
I go hardcore when I drink tea. Okay, my bad.
That reminds me of the 1970s, that does, the old tea caddies when the tea leaves went in.
He has to glue his hair down so it doesn't stand up.
Right?
So, all right, look, we had a fun show today.
Yes.
Now, people out there, I hope you're getting something out of what we're doing and what we're trying to do. We're not trying to waste your time. We're not trying to waste our time. We're trying to get you to be aware of what's happening. Try to get involved with what's happening. And please get involved with this show, get involved with life, and involved with things. Not go out there and spread the virus or try to create it or destroy it, but deal with what you can. You're safe online. I mean, the virus isn't going to jump through the computer yet. I mean, they'll have a virus that can go through the computer at some future day.
No, they've got radiation to do that.
If coronavirus goes digital, I think we're all screwed at that point.
Yeah, if it goes that way, we're in trouble. But right now we're not there, so we need to focus on the simplest things we can. You need to be survival, and the survivalist mode. You need to make sure you have food, money, a house to live in, and protection. But then you need to find out what we're doing to the planet, and who's going to help get it better. Who's going to help make it worse? And I don't see anybody really going to make it better. And I only found out that Tom Sawyer is going to be the key person for Biden as the global warming situation. And I asked him, I wrote him 20 letters saying, talk to me. Let me just hear your voice, and I want to ask you a question. And I want to see what he really knows about what's happening to the planet. Sure, you can say
I want to stop cutting down the rainforest, but don't get me going. Right, I'm going to say goodbye on that note before I get wound up.
I'm not going to let you go.
I'm going to go. And I'm going to say thank you, Sasha. It's been a pleasure. Well done for the tea drinking, but you need to get over that. You need to put milk in that and just use a tea strainer. Tommy, it's better still buy tea bags, Tetley tea bags.
Yeah.
I've been Tina Bird here this evening. Tommy, as always, it's been a pleasure. And I think we're going to have a lot of spout off, and Sasha can mediate, because I think I'd win, but Tommy's got the experience.
Oh, boy.
You really think you're going to win against me?
I'm Tina Bird. I'm with Tina Bird here in England and Southampton, and you can find me on Hive. That's Human Individuals Visited by Extraterrestrials, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Tina Bird on Facebook. Hopefully next week, by the time you see me next week, hopefully my book will be uploaded to Amazon and it'll be available to sell. It'll be called The Brotherhood of Night and the Guardians of Light, and that's available on hardback, paperback, and Kindle. And hopefully I'll have a voiceover at some point.
So before you go, Tina, you got 2 minutes. You're only on 57 minutes so far. Basically, can you give the public, the world, an idea what your book's about?
Well, it's a fantasy, and it's a fictional fantasy. And no, because you have to read the book. I don't want to give it away. The second I start talking about it, it's going to give it away. It's a page turner.
You want to read a book that you don't know what it's about. I mean, is it about God, death, people, life?
There's death in it. There's sex in it. And there's unexpected turns. It's a page turner right to the end, and at the end you're like, oh my God! So
right.
You do have to read the book, I'm afraid, people. So if anybody does know me, I'll be quite happy to sign your book for you. And loads of people know, my relatives and people I work with and friends. So if they buy it, I'll sign it. I'll quite gladly do that. But
so what are you calling it? A sci-fi book? A thriller? What?
No, it's
what genre?
It's fantasy fiction. Fantasy fiction.
Fantasy fiction.
Okay. That sounds fun. Well, thanks for coming on, staying on.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
All right, Tina. It was good talking to you again.
Bye-bye. And I'll see you next week. I've been Tina Bird here in England. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye. That was fun. I didn't realize what kind of a book she was writing. I thought it would be a little bit different, but that's good. She's not being pulled into the realm that she has to write about an alien abduction. There's so many books about that have very little truth in them. But it's rather to hear things like that from a person than read it anyway. Because you can look into her eyes, you can look at her, see if she's real, honest, and her vibration and all those things as well. So I'm glad she's at least putting something out there. So until next week, check out the sites that are online, check out the ships that are being sighted, check out the stories out there, see what you find. If you find anything important, get in touch with me. Please email me. If you want my book, How to See a UFO, the link's right there on the bottom of me. Text me, and I'll send you the JPEG file of the book. I do have a few other books out there. I have 2 books that are, I can send you as an ebook if you want to read them as well. I mean, they're older. I mean, I put them out years ago. So one was 20 years old. And the other one's about 10.
I
So,
believe I've got all your original stuff too, up to the true teachings of Jesus.
So I mean, I have 4 books out. I have one just about done. I got to get somebody to edit it, and then my PDF file. I could have turned it into a book, but I just feel more people need to see a UFO, and I don't want to make people pay to see a UFO. That's the least of my desires. But until next week, I'm going to be doing a show with TJ on Sunday. TJ Morris. I mean, every time we're supposed to do it, she disappears, but she promises me next Sunday. I'll put a link up for that as well when it happens. I will be doing my own show in the next couple of days as well. I let everybody know. If anybody wants to come on, please do. Thank you for coming on, Sasha. It's always a pleasure.
Same here.
Until next time, peace, compassion, and enjoy the rest of your night, day, and whatever we can do to make our souls better in any way, do it. Till next time.
Okay, you guys take care.
Bye, everybody.